need to micro this at this point.
He's going to have to sack off his Ruskies. He has to come in melee here.
Yes.
I don't think he can continue keep microing. Well, he's going to try, wait for reinforcements and try to make it to his blockhouses. The question is, how much damage will he going to be taking? This is nice micro from Ungers, but you know, the Atontons just have to attack move here. And 1.5 fire rate, they do have staff animation. And the Atontons are absolutely insane. But he has drawn him into the double blockhouse. Now fighting under the double blockhouse. The question is it going to be
Skits are a little
defending?
behind here. The Cossacks are now getting snared by the Pumas and the Coyotes. The Explorer is now in with the triple XP tech. Some warriors are mixing. The Atoton's doing absolutely insane amount of damage. He's on plus 36%. Look at him on the attack. That's plus 36%. And he's just
Coyotes
coming in now
on
with the
Strelitz.
blockhouses are actually doing decent damage here. The Coyotes are kind of going down. The Spears are now trying to move in towards the front, and it's actually a decent fight, I think, for Tabin.
Pretty good fight for Tabin, but you know, there's not very many Cossacks. He's letting a lot of these Coyotes and Pumas kind of shred his Strelitz a bit. Finally getting his Cossacks where they want to be on the slingers, and gonna be cleaning up.
Here, the ESOCs are out of position. The Carolinians as well, and the ESOCs are gonna go up top. Oh, the tree carrying here. The tree is for Sweden, and there you go. We can see some damage here. The ESOCs, all the ESOCs are dead. That's quite a lot of mass. The ESOCs coming back from their raid. Nah, GG. Optimus, his mass is getting completely clean. With the ESOCs, that's gonna be a big snare right there, and there is no way those Carolinians are gonna come out alive.
Maybe should be able to swing this water fight. Yeah, it's so the micro here is so intense. Get in, get back in. Will the Yumi have a chance to snipe him? Look at the ship is at 62 HP.
Oh! Frontline, what a god.
Oh no! Oh my god! Oh my gosh, Michael, it was insane, and that's GG. Wow, those galleys have such low HP.
He's gonna need to take trades here, and he's taking really good trades. The Kanye are now pushing in, and is this the time? Ungers needs to get on the attack dance. I mean, he has 70 fills. He's so far at an eco. Put some fills on the attack dance, and this will be even better. He's not switching. He's on XP. The cap is going down. It's getting melted by the buildings here. The longbows are still standing and doing damage.
Does he have enough steam though? I think
There's not
Julian is
enough
running
stuff,
out.
though. Yeah.
Egerton Bowman, 1.5 fire rate once again, coming up truck, being king here, and just even though
Drag boxing the
long-
Naginatas forward, the Coyotes are trying to move, and the Atoton, he drag boxed the wrong direction, and now the Atotons are getting snared by the. Oh my
Nagis are
goodness!
shredding this right now, and it doesn't look like
the
he's has.
plus 11s.
I don't see any of the pikes. Where's the pikes on this fight? The Nagis are just cleaning this entire mass up. Coyotes are falling. You got the Ashes getting buffed for the Dynamo. They've got Ashy attacking. They're absolutely shredding everything here. Yumi don't even need to micro this at this point.
He's going to have to sack off his Ruskies. He has to come in melee here.
Yes.
I don't think he can continue keep microing. Well, he's going to try, wait for reinforcements and try to make it to his blockhouses. The question is, how much damage will he going to be taking? This is nice micro from Ungers, but you know, the Atontons just have to attack move here. And 1.5 fire rate, they do have staff animation. And the Atontons are absolutely insane. But he has drawn him into the double blockhouse. Now fighting under the double blockhouse. The question is it going to be
Skits are a
enough
little
defending?
behind here. The Cossacks are now getting snared by the Pumas and the Coyotes. The Explorer is now in with the triple XP tech. Some warriors are mixing. The Atoton's doing absolutely insane amount of damage. He's on plus 36%. Look at him on the attack. That's plus 36%. And he's just
Coyotes
coming in now
on
with the
Strelitz.
blockhouses are actually doing decent damage here. The Coyotes are kind of going down. The Spears are now trying to move in towards the front, and it's actually a decent fight, I think, for Tabin.
Pretty good fight for Tabin, but you know, there's not very many Cossacks. He's letting a lot of these Coyotes and Pumas kind of shred his Strelitz a bit. Finally getting his Cossacks where they want to be on the slingers, and gonna be cleaning up.
Here, the ESOCs are out of position. The Carolinians as well, and the ESOCs are gonna go up top. Oh, the tree carrying here. The tree is for Sweden, and there you go. We can see some damage here. VSRs, all VSRs are dead. That's quite a lot of mass. VSRs coming back from fair rate. Nah, that's GG. That's GG. Optimus, his mass is getting completely clean. With VSRs, that's going to be a big snare right there. And there is no way those Canadians are going to come out alive.
Ungers should be able to swing this water fight. Yeah, it's so the micro here is so intense. Get in, get back in. Will the Yumi have a chance to snipe him? Look out, the ship is at 62 HP.
Oh! Frontline, what the god?
Oh no! Oh my god! Oh my gosh, Michael, it was insane, and that's GG. Wow, those galleys have such low HP.
He's gonna need to take trades here, and he's taking really good trades. The Kanye are now pushing in, and is this the time? Ungers needs to get on the attack dance. I mean, he has 70 fills. He's so far at an eco. Put some fills on the attack dance, and this will be even better. He's not switching. He's on XP. The cab is going down. It's getting melted by the buildings here. The longbows are still standing and doing damage.
Does he have enough steam though?
There's not enough
running out. Eaton Bowman, 1.5 fire rate once again, coming up truck, being king here, and just even though
drag boxing the Naginatas forward, the Coyotes are trying to move, and the Atoman, he drag boxed the wrong direction, and now the Atomans are getting snared by the. Oh my
Nagis are
goodness!
shredding this right now, and it doesn't look like he's has.
11s.
I don't see any of the pikes. Where's the pikes on this fight? The Nagis are just cleaning this entire mass up. Coyotes are falling. You got the Ashes getting buffed for the Dino. They've got Ashy attacking. They're absolutely shredding everything here. Yumi don't even need to micro this at this point.
He's going to have to sack off his Ruskets. He has to come in melee here.
Yes.
I don't think he can continue keep microing. Well, he's going to try, wait for reinforcements and try to make it to his blockhouses. The question is, how much damage will he going to be taking? This is nice micro from Ungers, but you know, the Autons just have to attack move here. And 1.5 fire rate, they do have staff animation. And the Tontins are absolutely insane, but he has drawn him into the double blockhouse, now fighting under the double blockhouse. The question is it going to be
Skits
enough
are a little
to defend him?
behind here. The Cossacks are now getting snared by the Pumas and the Coyotes. The Explorer is now in with the triple XP tech. Some Warriors are mixing. The Atoans doing absolutely insane amount of damage. He's on plus 36%. Look at him on the attack. That's a plus 36%. And he's just
Coyotes on the
the
Strelets.
blockhouses are actually doing decent damage here. The Coyotes are kind of going down. The Spears are now trying to move in towards the front, and it's actually a decent fight, I think, for Tabin.
Pretty good fight for Tabin, but there's not very many Cossacks. He's letting a lot of these Coyotes and Pumas kind of shred his Strelets a bit. Finally getting his Cossacks where they want to be on the Slingers, and gonna be cleaning up.
Here, VSRs are out of position. The Carolinians as well, and VSRs are gonna go up top. Oh, the tree carrying here. The tree is for Sweden, and there you go. We can see some damage here. VSRs, all VSRs are dead. That's quite a lot of mass. VSRs coming back from fair rate. Nah, that's GG. That's GG. Optimus, his mass is getting completely clean. With VSRs, that's gonna be a big snare right there, and there is no way those Canadians are gonna come out alive.
Ungers should be able to swing this water fight. Yeah, it's so the micro here is so intense. Get in, get back in. Will the Yumi have a chance to snipe him? Look out, the ship is at 62 HP.
Oh! Frontline, what the god?
Oh no! Oh my god! Oh my gosh, Michael, it was insane, and that's GG. Wow, those galleys have such low HP.
He's gonna need to take trades here, and he's taking really good trades. The Kanye are now pushing in, and is this the time? Ungers needs to get on the attack dance. I mean, he has 70 fills. He's so far at an eco. Put some fills on the attack dance, and this will be even better. He's not switching. He's on XP. The cab is going down. It's getting melted by the buildings here. The longbows are still standing and doing damage.
Does he have enough steam though?
There's not enough
running out.
yeah.
Nathan Bowman, 1.5 fire rate once again, coming up, Trump being king here, and just even though
Drag boxing the
long-
Naginatas forward, the Coyotes are trying to move, and the Atoman, he drag boxed the wrong direction, and now the Atomans are getting snared by
my
the.
God.
Oh my
Nuggies
goodness!
are shredding this right now. And it doesn't look like
the
he's got
plus
his...
11s.
I don't see any of the pikes. Where's the pikes on his fight? The Nuggies are just cleaning this entire mass up. Coyotes are falling. You got the Ashes getting buffed by the Dynamo. They've got Ashy attacking. They're absolutely shredding everything here. Yumi don't even need to micro this at this point.
He's going to have to sack off his thrust. Yes, he has to touch the melee here.
Yes.
I don't think he can continue keep microing. Well, he's going to try, wait for reinforcements and try to make it to his blockhouses. The question is, how much damage will he going to be taking? This is nice micro from Ungers, but you know, the Tonsons just have to attack move here. And 1.5 fire rate, they do have staff animation. And the Tonsons are absolutely insane. But he has drawn him into the double blockhouse. Now fighting under the double blockhouse. The question is it going to be
Skits
enough
are a
to
little
prevent it?
behind here. The Cossacks are now getting snared by the Pumas and the Coyotes. The Explorer is now in with the triple XP tech. Some warriors are mixing. The Atoans doing absolutely insane amount of damage. He's on plus 36%. Look at him on the attack. That's a plus 36%. And he's just
Coyotes
coming in now
on the
with the
Strelitz.
blockhouses are actually doing some damage.
All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another ESOC series here for the ESOC Spring Championship. Today we're joined by what is most likely one of the best players to ever grace this game, and a very handsome Frenchman at that. Kaiser Klein, please introduce yourself, my friend.
Thanks, mate. I mean, I'm gonna blush every time you guys introduce me. Yeah, I mean, glad to be here again.
Great.
Should
We're
be a
always
good
happy
series,
to
I
have
think.
you.
Round of 8 is getting a bit serious, right?
Yeah, all the shitters like Shake left in the round of 16, so now the good players are left. Should be awesome. Should be nice. Let's get right into the specifics of it. First matchup, let's read the map here. The matchup is already looking quite awful for Keturboy. What are we thinking about Japan versus Lakota?
I mean, I think that's a matchup that has changed a lot because these years have changed so much on DE. So I don't know if I'm the best to comment on that one, honestly, but usually I think it has usually been like Lakota favored, except maybe back when like you would get crazy walls and stuff on RE and Lakota would have no hunt, and then maybe Japan was like beating Lakota then, but and Yumi's would just kill everything, you know. But nowadays I think people would agree that maybe Lakota is just too fast for Japan.
Yeah, long gone are the times of, Yumi Wall, Heavenly Kami, Shrine everywhere on the map, and just Yumi's being their own anti-cav. I think the matchup's so bad nowadays, especially with the recent buffs on DE for infantry for Lakota. Set and Bowman are that bit stronger, and so are the Club Warriors. And if I'm not mistaken, in a stand-and fight in H2, Setons even beat Yumi at this point without any upgrades. So it will definitely be interesting to see how Ketur approaches this. I know that he used to main Lakota on Nilla. He's Japan. He's a very good Japan player, but it's gonna be a tough ask trying to win this first matchup. But I'm excited nevertheless. And it's DE. At the end of the day, mechanically, it won't matter as much if you manage to get a good pop, or if you manage to get a good surround or one passing issue for your opponent. You can still win the game regardless of matchup. So let's see what the matchup will bring.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, but you can also just die very easily to Lakota, right? I think if you just don't handle the rush properly, Lakota is one of those civs. It's a bit like Russia, sometimes it's just they can. Yeah, okay, game's about to start.
All right. So let's wait until we load into the map.
But yeah, I mean it's one of those civs that can just like flood you so bad early on that sometimes it's not recoverable. Like you just can't do anything, no matter how good you are. You're just like dead. So just need to not die, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Japan's window is really, as you said, if they don't die and you get to H3, and you get all the upgrades for your Yumis, for your Ashis, and that's when you really stand a chance. But, ladies and gentlemen, do we have a map introduction for this map? I'm assuming not. So let's get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the quarterfinals of the ESOC Spring Championships, hosted by ESOC, casted by me, Shake 2020, and Kaiser Klein. On the north side of the map, in the color blue, we have Ungers playing as Lakota. And on the south side of the map, in the color red, his opponent, Keturboy, playing in the color red as the Japanese. Now, Guyana's is a map that usually spawns the treasures on the left and right side, so it's good, I would say, for the Japanese explorers, because you won't expect the Lakota explorer to be, always on their ass and trying to steal the treasures that they're working on, because to traverse the map, even for a Lakota explorer, it takes a while, and if you get lucky, and as Keturboy is right now, as we can see, he's on the bottom side of the map trying to get some treasures. Japan can get away with actually having a nice 8-1.
Yeah, this map also has like so many good treasures on the boss TP lines. Not all of them are good for Japan, I guess, because sometimes you get like some blowgunners, pirates, and shit like that, which is pretty hard for Japan to kill. While on the other hand, it's great for Lakota because they can convert them. So I guess it's a bit of luck there involved. Like you can randomly get great Japanese treasures or not. But yeah, I mean it's certainly both of those chiefs are rather good at treasuring, so they should be. That I can understand why they picked those chiefs on this map, I guess.
Interesting. What are you thinking about this 2 shrine start from Keturboy?
Well, again, I wouldn't really know the meta at the moment for Japan, but 2 shrines doesn't sound anything too weird to me. What do you usually see?
So normally you either gonna see the consulate or the market.
Oh, people do the consulate, okay.
Yeah, and there's also a new meta with the Torii Gates where you actually open up with a TP and ship 300 food and try and fast stage with the Samurai to deny an FB. Which is quite nice for Japan, especially in this matchup, I think. It could be really nice because you're going to expect H2 pressure from Lakota. You're going to expect some TP play. As you can see already, oh, we got a treasure contestation on the top left. If we can check that out really, really quickly instead of looking at the deck.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Wow. Okay. Thing is, these explorers don't do anything to each other, so it could take a long time.
Yeah. I think Ungers is just gonna try and stay there just to deny Keturboy that food treasure. He knows how big that could be for Japan, earlier age ups and whatnot. So I think Ungers just wants to show presence and just stick around there. But as I was saying before, it's not a very large stagecoach map for Lakota. Like you're not gonna be able to stagecoach on 3, 4, 5 TPs with 1 upgrade. If you want to really profit fully from the map, you're gonna have to research stagecoach twice, which no one really wants to do. Like it's already an expensive upgrade, so
yeah,
maybe that is
also,
gonna be
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm done.
Yeah. Also, it's not just that it's 2 TP lines with only 2 TPs each. They're also pretty far. It's like really hard to defend them, basically. Like good luck ever defending like these 2 lines at the same time, right? Even 1 is pretty hard. So. Then again, it's not as hard when you're Lakota because you have the speed advantage, and it's always a bit scary. Like, would you really go in a corner there to siege a TP when you know like the Lakota army could come anytime to surround you? There's always that risk. So I guess you can bank on that, but still, it's not the best stagecoach map for sure.
It's exactly the thing I was thinking about. If you're gonna send your army as Japan to the left side, for example, and you're gonna be stuck on the edge of the map and that cliff in the middle there. Like you're gonna be begging to get surrounded by both sides, and as we all know with War Dance, Lakota rarely ever loses fights. So I don't really think it's a good idea to go sieging anything early, especially against Lakota. So we've got an age up coming in for Keturboy. Let's see what he's going to be aging up with. What wonder?
That's the Torii Gate, I think. Yeah.
It is a Torii Gate, yes, and we also see a market being put down.
Just one thing though, Giggs is saying, I don't know if you saw TFL, that there's a problem with the sound maybe.
Oh yeah, disabling the game music. Yeah.
Yeah, and also the sound quality is a bit.
We can just pause the game for a bit.
I think, and while TFL figures it out.
Yeah, sure. Or yeah, or maybe we just go game one like this and we'll figure it out between two games or something.
Yeah. Guys, what does it matter? Game sounds, not game sounds. You guys got Kaiser in here. You just gotta focus on his voice and everything will be okay, man. Don't listen to all that bullshit around it. So Tory Gates age up, we got 3 villagers or 4 villagers from the looks of things on the age up, which is a relative okay number. Usually you want either a little bit more or a little bit less, right? If you want to age up quicker, you're gonna have more. If you want to go more greedy, you're gonna have less. But I don't know how greedy you can go with a Tory Gates age up. And on the other side, if we're gonna look at Ungers, Ungers is going to be aging up. Is he aging up? Yes, he's already age 2.
He's
Shipping
aged, yeah.
the wood.
That has to be a fast age, yeah.
But do we like the play of fast age into 700 wood, or do we prefer 4 axe riders already running around the map and doing damage, catching explorers, denying shrines?
Maybe he expects the Tory age up and he's like, there's gonna be a samurai. To be fair, you could still kill the samurai with 4 axe, right? But maybe he feels like it's not as strong going 4 axe first against Japan when they age up that fast. Maybe he did see the 4 wheels on the Wonder, which is kind of the most you're ever gonna put, right? Because after 4 wheels, each wheel is only 5 seconds faster age up instead of 10. So maybe if he scouted that, he's like, okay, Japan is very aggressive. I might as well not ship the 4 axe, but maybe he was already fast aging anyway, so he couldn't cancel that, you know? And he was like, okay, I might as well go 700 wood and get maybe 2 TP stagecoach and a Warheart or something like that, you know?
Yeah. Okay, I'm liking this. We're seeing 300 export from Japan. Do you think he wants to FB, like rush the Lakota FB? Maybe try and get Japanese consulate, some Jinobis out, or some Yamabushis?
Something's going on there. Yeah, I think he's not gonna have time to. I mean, it's very risky, right? He doesn't know that Lakota went 700 wood, so it is pretty risky to try to rush an FB of like Lakota who just fast age, I guess. So maybe some sort of timing. Oh, he's walling up, so I guess he's gonna play defensively. In fact.
I wonder what consulate we're even going to pick after we're going to get this export in. I don't really know what the plan is because we're shipping 300 export first and we're kind of walling up that forward berry, which I like. And I also like that he started also eating these berries because he kind of wanted to preserve his berry from behind.
He's doing Dutch. Yeah, I was saying that has to be Yumi club. Yumi, like the wall is for Yumis, and then of course you club if you go Yumi, right? But in fact, he's going Dutch, which is pretty greedy, and we can see there's a kind of timing coming in from Lakota after the 700 wood. He's going Cetans and shipping axe, so he's probably gonna come in with 10 Cetans and 4 axe raiders plus the explorer and shit. So Japan has to be very careful there. I think going for the Dutch consulate is really greedy here. He really might have needed the clubs to kill the axe raiders. So
not only that, we're shipping 5 shrine wagons behind this as well. Wow. So we're going extra greedy right now. Like we got 2 Yumis out, not a great batch. Bank coming out, and we're going into Ashi production. But what are 2 Yumis and a couple of Ashi really going to do against that timing that you mentioned?
Yeah.
Maybe he's hoping for a big Minuteman pop, but a player like Ungers, these kind of players don't really get caught by melee Minutemen under a TC. Like, he's not going to overcommit and lose his Axe Riders, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially as Lakota, right? You have to be really slow to lose your army as Lakota, right? I mean, if you react decently, you should always escape. So,
Ooh, and the Shrine Wagons are there, but they're there for a bait, because now actually he does want to pop the Minutemen. There we go. The Minutemen do pop, and they actually do connect with the Axe Riders. He manages to take down 1 Shrine, but is this a worthwhile trade for him, Kaiser? No. I don't think so. He lost almost 3 Axe Riders right there for 1 Shrine Wagger. This was a really, really nice pop for Keturboy. I would be happy if I was him after this trade.
I mean, just put it this way. This is an entire shipment for Lakota dying, and not any shipment. It's like basically their best H2 shipment. Against Japan losing like a quarter of their shipment or something. Or I mean, he just lost 1 wagon, right?
He lost 20% of that shipment, basically.
Yeah, so 20%.
You get 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
has to be like terrible for Ungers. And the thing is, like I said, he was probably aiming for some kind of timing there, and like half of his timing is gone because he's lost his X Riders. So this, like, he's just not gonna be able to do anything basically.
Yeah, and it's gonna allow Keturboy to ship 4 vills behind this as well. Now going for civil servants. Keter is going really, really greedy. We've seen 3 greedy shipments back to back to back. After we've seen Lakota already ship now what is going to be his 3rd military shipment. Second, excuse me. He did ship 700 wood first. So the longer this game is gonna go, even with the stagecoach with Lakota, I still believe Japan has an edge if he doesn't just die in the next minute and a half or so.
Yeah, for sure. Then again, Lakota still has like 2 TP stagecoach behind. I mean, I assume he stagecoached that, and so he's not completely toast, but yeah, he's gonna be stuck in H2 as well for a while because he used his fast H2 colonial. So he's sort of like stuck into trying to make something happen, but he just doesn't have the cav to force an engagement. So like, I mean, he does have the Explorer, which might just be enough, to be fair.
Ooh, but these are a lot of vills down south. Oh, thank you, Tabin, for the big raid right here with 66 viewers. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Now, going back into the game, as you said, Kaiser, look at that Axe Rider. He's really low HP. He can't really commit on these Yumis, but Keter is also not really doing a job of kiting right now, and he's allowing these Chetans to get in range of the Yumi. And as I said before, 1.5 ROF usually beats 3 ROF, and yes, it is under the Japanese TC, but Keter is shipping 600 wood. He's not shipping a military shipment. Minutemen pop on the north side of the map of the Japanese TC here, going to force these Chetans away. But I don't think all in all it was the worst trade in the world for Lakota. You still got a couple of Yumis down. You got a villager over there. But yeah, Ungers again having to back off. Japan right now, if we can look at the shrine pop, that would be nice for Japan. 70 shrine pop, but we have seen 4 villagers being shipped. We have seen a couple of market upgrades, and TFL, if you can please just try and put the game at a faster speed. Oh, I see that you already did. So, ladies and gentlemen, excuse us. We are doing the best we can as for the stream quality, and I'm sure during the series it will pick up when the game decides that its brain wants to start functioning. So, don't worry about it. All right, what are we thinking currently, Kaiser? Who are you giving the advantage to right now in the game?
Pretty hard to say, honestly. Like, I mean, it feels like Japan has survived, but he's lost a few villas. He just doesn't have a lot of shrines. I feel like Lakota is ahead, but it's not decisive, maybe. But I mean, like, Lakota has got to have like a sort of a better eco than Japan in a like he can just get more units out, I think. Like he doesn't have more eco, but he's got the TPs on. Like he doesn't need to build houses, so he can have TPs on wood to produce units. And I think if he just adds cav, he might be in a very good spot there. Because Japan is still far from getting a scary unit mass. He's shipping the church. Okay, he's gonna have to
get
go
away
back.
there. He is fighting these Chetans with the Ashis and with the Yumis under the TC, but there's also not enough villagers, and Keter kind of can't commit too many vills in the TC as well to try and kill these Chetans because, as you said, his eco is a bit low. If we're looking at purely economic numbers right now, that stagecoach is giving Ungers an 8 villagers extra on top of his 25, so that's 33 comparison to Japan's 28 and 60 shrine pop without any upgrades. So I would say Lakota's eco is better, and I think that reflects in the score as well, Kaiser, because Dutch Consulate is a score buff. It gives you a lot of fake score because of that bank, because of that church. So I would say right now, if I would have to choose who I was currently in this situation, I'd rather be Ungers.
Yeah, most likely, yeah. Then again, we kind of reached the time where Japan has 2 barracks and is able to sort of like constantly spam units out of them, so yeah, Lakota, I think, is winning, but he needs to stay active. He can't just give like too much time to Japan still because it is still Japan. So yeah, I think he needs to keep like running around and sieging the shrines. He's done a good job of doing that. If you look at the mini map, there's barely any shrine on the map. Like his house actually, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's so funny hearing you talk like this, Kaiser, because on DE, Japan is like this underrated civ that people really think it's weak, and the way that people coming from EP and Tad and Nilla talk about Japan, it's almost a traumatic experience from them. Like,
Yeah, I
kill
mean,
it before it survives, please.
yeah,
kill it.
right, exactly. I mean, even if it's a bad sieve, it still doesn't change the fact that eventually, if you don't do anything, it becomes a good sieve, right? So, and on the other hand, Lakota doesn't have the best late game, so
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Another good thing that Diesel mentioned in chat, actually, Kaiser, is recently they removed the snare from the Lakota Explorer.
oh,
So
okay, that's kind of big here.
that is huge because you can kind of pull trick away if you have a bigger mass to, pull trick the Yumi away. Um, so the Lakota speed buff isn't as crazy anymore as it used to be. So Japan, I want to say, can kind of pick and choose when it fights, but it can't really because it's losing all of its shrines. And I feel like the only thing Keturboy hasn't really done well, and I want to note he has a very good base build here. He hasn't really done an excellent job of really, really spreading those shrines out and forcing um, Ungers to really be on two sides of the map taking down the shrines. It's kind of been centered on only the right side of the map, and it's been quite easy pickings for these club warriors to take down the shrines. And Great Hunter coming in right now, 30
Yeah.
villagers plus 8. Yeah, Lakota's eco is just going to take off, and Lakota is actually up in score right now.
Yeah, it's starting to look quite bad for Japan. I guess if he can't find a way to shrine a bit more than this, he's never gonna be able to really boom and to even like train units because he's constantly housed. So I wonder if Lakota could have just aged there instead of going Great Hunter, like 700 coin in age. But I guess adding Axe is just fine as well.
Yeah, it's just safer, because you know that Keturboy is behind if you're Ungers, and you know that the only way you can really lose this game is if you're aging and you kind of get counter pushed. And I'm assuming he just really doesn't want that to happen. And yeah, these acts are going to do a really good job because there's not really a lot of anti-cav out on the floor for Japan here. It's going to take these Ashies very, very long time to try and deal with these Lakota X Riders. And the Ashies are going to move in, trying to defend against these X Riders, but Unger's doing a good job trying to really zone off. Keturboy retreating back behind his gates, so that is a saving grace for his Yumi mass, predominantly Yumi mass, and this is some good micro, and this is some good base building, Kaiser, here with that gate, really protected by the mine as well. But the only downside for Japan here is you don't really have Minutemen to scare off these Axe Riders anymore, and the Chetans are just going to stand and fight, and Unger is going to say, okay, I'm going to let my 1.5 rate of fire archers again fight against your archers, and I'm going to force you to idle your economy more and just kill your shrines with my clubs in the back, and I'm going to take that trade.
Yeah, and this is just good enough trade for Lakota. I don't think it's bad for Japan, but considering Lakota is ahead, it's fine, The thing is, like, he really needs to keep kiting more. Like, he needs to just kite. He never kites with Yumis against Cetans, and like you said, if they're just sitting there, Cetans do really well. But if you hit and run with the 2 extra range, then they're not that strong against Yumis, So he needs to abuse that extra range, to abuse that better animation, and then he would be. I think he would be okay in this fight. But if he keeps sitting there, then I don't know.
Yeah, as you're saying that though, the Japanese reinforcements are closer, and it's kind of frustrating to see. Like you see that like the Chetans are behind the wall and behind the consulate, and they're still in range. Like they should never be in range in this situation, as you're saying. But for the people in chat asking for us to increase game speed, we have increased the game speed. There's not much we can do about it. Sometimes with these live casts, it is an issue that you can't really do anything about the FPS or the game speed. So we do apologize about that again. But I think I'm watching the stream in the background. Except for it being slow, the quality of the stream in general is quite nice. So I think this game is looking really, really bad for Japan right now. We're shipping 5 Shrine Waggers again. We're popped again. We've got 51 pop in total. And if we switch over to Lakota, 50 pop, excuse me, we could see that Lakota is on 69 pop with more villagers and more military out on the floor. So this is looking really, really bad right now for Keturboy, even though Ungers is slightly down in score. We're seeing 700 coin coming in the back as well. Do you think that we will use that for more axe, or is he really thinking of aging up this time?
I don't know what he's going to decide, but I think he should age. because it's becoming quite obvious that Lakota is ahead, but also that he's not able to break in, right? Because the walls and everything, so he's like hitting his head against the wall at this point, and I think he could just age because Japan is not gonna be able to push out anytime soon. Because he doesn't know if Lakota is aging, and if he pushes out and Lakota is making units, there is no way his army stands a chance. So I think Lakota could age.
Yeah.
It's just a bit long to age up, that's the thing, but I think it's still worth it.
Dakota could age, and excuse me, that wasn't the 5 shrine shipment, it was a cherry orchard shipment. So another kind of anticlimactic shipment for Japan here. They kind of have to ship it, I would say, but we do have quite a lot of berries in the front. He's probably uncomfortable picking that every time because he can just get kited by these Chetans, and he doesn't want to waste his APM on constantly trying to get these villagers into the TC and kiting away. But as you said, Ungers should age, but he isn't. He's going into triple unit production right now. Most of his vills being on food to be able to produce these Cetans and these Axe Riders. And if he macros this well, he can get a full batch of 555, which isn't that much worse than aging in this scenario, I think. But he really needs to get those batches out to be able to fully capitalize and then probably go for the throat of the Japanese base. But saying that, we are seeing double Ashi production and Ashis being shipped, so
Yeah.
the anti-cav will probably be sufficient. And we're going back to your former point. Maybe aging is actually the way to win here for Lakota.
Yeah, because I mean, what else? Are you gonna just push repeatedly into walls, right? Well, what are your options? You're gonna run out of shipments in H2 at some point, while Japan can always have the 2 times shipping thing, so they will be fine. Like you can see, Japan is still shipping 5 ashes and good stuff like that. So I mean, what is your goal at the end of the day, right? Are you really gonna stay H2 forever, or do you just age at some point? Also, you have to be careful because Japan could and I think should eventually add a stable here and try to get like 10 Nagis and surprise Dakota. Also, I'm surprised Japan doesn't have the daimyo in the deck.
Yeah.
That is a bit weird.
No
But
daimyo against Dakota kind of forces you to almost lose fights, right? Because the daimyo is sort of an equalizer to War Dance. In some regards, it's also a very tanky unit, and it also counterplays the Lakota War Chief in some sense. But I don't think that Keturboy, that's really his playstyle. He's a very greedy player. Later on, you will see with his France, with his Germany as well. It's always as if this guy, when he ages, he manages to sneak in a TC in the middle of the map somewhere and just outboom you while taking amazing trades. So I think it's quite unfortunate for him that the game is going the way it is right now. We're back up to 80 Shrine Pop, and we're looking like we're going to macro maybe for another coin shipment and an age up for Japan. He's going to try and sneak that in, and if we're looking at the other end, we are seeing Ungers right now shipping 600 coin, but again, producing units. Don't tell me you're going to really use both of your coin shipments without aging up. That sounds really risky at this point.
yeah, that is true. That is true. Although at this point in the game, you do have 40 vills and 2 TPs, so aging up without crates is still an option. But yeah, it's always a bit risky to spend all your coin crates to just not age. Another thing to mention, I think, is that Cetans do not get any upgrade, I think, in H2. So, like, if you stay forever in H2 as Lakota, you're just gonna end up having weaker units, while Japan has a bunch of upgrades, even though he doesn't have the daimyo, which is sad. But still, like, I still can't say how this game is. I feel like Lakota is gonna end up winning eventually, but I don't know. Because he's just doing the same mistake over and over again, just pushing in. This time, though, he's coming from a nice angle where there is no wall, and he's sieging down the stable, so that's nice.
Yeah, and there's more Chetans out on the field than there is Yumi's. Ashi attack coming in. If we have Yumi attack, for Japan in deck, I would have rather seen that. But we already have it in, and as you said, no upgrade for Cetans. Yumi's do have upgrades, but there's little Yumis can do when they get like outmatched that hard by Cetans. Even with upgrades, they're just not going to win a fight. Explorers are going to be dragged in right now, and it looks like Ungers kind of wants to go for the throat and wants to end this game, but again, he keeps kiting back, and here we go again with the decision of, why didn't you just ship the coin to Age then? Because if you're not going to commit for a fight, then you're kind of wasting your timings every time over and over again. And yes, you are ahead economically and militarily, but as you said before, it's Japan, and they have more upgrades, and their economy can scale better than yours potentially. It's the way to throw the fight eventually. But finally, there we go. We are going in. Ashies are going to go in right now. Explorers in the back as well, trying to tank as much damage. Ashies very nice positioning there, kind of making the Lakota X Riders stuck between the coin mine and the cherry orchard. TC firing as well. Lakota, the Yumi getting some nice shots off on those Shetan Bowmen. Only 11 Shetan Bowmen left on the floor. Wow, Kaiser, this fight is actually not that bad for Japan, is it now?
Yeah, I mean, he keeps fighting in chokes, right? I've done that a lot of times too, because I just get annoyed and I'm like, dude, let's just take a fight. But it never works against Japan because just full ranged units in chokes and bad pathing. And this is like a pretty good trade for Japan at this point, because I'm pretty sure Lakota had much more units. And at the end of the day, Japan is going to survive barely, but he's going to survive. So.
Yeah, he is actually surviving. Double Ashi batch coming in as well. I don't think this is too
he
bad.
was not gathering though. He's got wait, only 10 idols. That's pretty good actually, because that's just what you need for TC firing. So
yeah, because those cherry orchards were shipped to the back, so his wheels kind of were out of the line of sight and out of the range of rate of fire of these Shetans. But this is really bad for Keter. Actually, he's getting caught between the shrine and the gate. And yes, Ashi are in melee, but this is where the Shetans really shine because of their 1.5 ROF, right? They can just stand and fight while you're trying to micro with the Axe Riders, and the Axe Riders do have upgrade cards, and there we go. Cav Attack coming in H2, and these Axe Riders, what is going to kill Cav Attack Axe Riders right now in the Japanese composition?
Yeah, I mean, he needed to keep sitting where he was and not go out of the gate, basically. That was a bit of a blunder there. I mean, he just took a great fight, but now he's back to having just very few units. And he might just survive again by popping like a batch out of double racks and stuff, but it's looking a bit harder now.
Yeah, one Concha Yamabushi in there. Not really a lot of them. Japan, surprisingly, actually still has a Yumi shipment left, which is interesting, especially when you're counting the fact that there's a lot of X Riders out on the floor, and I don't know if Yumi's really is the right decision, but what does he really have left to ship at this point, except for maybe 600 coin and try and remass more, but that wouldn't really do much when you've got an entire Lakota army in your base, and
yeah, and
there we go.
I mean, he's popping 10 ashes, so shipping 5 Yumis makes sense, I guess. But yeah, he's just gonna survive every time, looks like.
But is this surviving good for him, Kaiser? Can he win this on the long run while Lakota is just gathering all over the map?
No, I don't think he can. Yeah, I don't think so.
Like, we're forgetting that Japan is gonna eventually run out of resources, and you're gonna have to age. That's kind of your win condition here.
I mean, he can still ship cherry orchards once, right?
That is true.
But I mean, yeah, I don't think it's gonna really work. I just wish for Ungers that he would have aged, because it would have been easier to win. I'm not saying it's gonna lose him the game, just it's gonna make it much longer, because as we can see, like we need to remember about checking the post-game stats. I want to see like the kill-death ratio, because I think it has to be like really good for Japan.
It kind of is. It kind of I don't think the game that we're seeing right now is telling the full story. I think Keter is doing an awesome job of what he's doing. I think that the approach is kind of bad, but as I'm saying that, Keter all of a sudden 3K score ahead. Let's switch over to Japan's perspective. What really prompted him to get this far ahead? He's on 80 shrine pop, 41 vills.
3K? Oh, I think I think Sue is aging maybe. Lakota is maybe aging.
That could be. No, he isn't. He's shipping Bison. Okay. Wow.
I think that sometimes you get score jumps because you pop units. Like if Lakota queues like 10 units and Japan pops 10, it's a 2K score gap basically. So it could have been something like that.
That is true. Oh, very nice. Japan going now for the wood shipment, but we are finally seeing the Nagi switch.
Yeah.
I think the Nagi switch can take Ungers by surprise, really, with his pants down, because we don't really see any club warriors except for them just walking around and trying to take down shrines, right? So the Nagi switch, if you have a sufficient number, like 10, and with the Ashis really going in melee against the Axe Riders, you can really do a lot of damage. And I think Ungers can tell by the lower amount of Yumi that he's seeing on the floor. He knows that his opponent is making a move. Is he aging or is he switching unit composition? Because this isn't a sufficient amount of Yumis out on the floor, is it?
Yeah, I think he needs some more Yumis, or he needs like a lot of Nagis maybe, or some Nagis. I don't know if Ungers is gonna be really surprised about the Nagi switch because he already sieged down the stable, so he knows like Japan planned to make Nagis. And he does have a solid amount of Axe Rider, which kind of act as anti-cav, but they don't act as anti-cav against like 25 Ashes. Like if you have Ashi and Nagi against Seaton and Axe Rider, you're just gonna win the fight because it's the better unit composition. But this is maybe a little bit early. Only 5 Nagis there? Oh, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, the 5 Nagis, the Yamabushis are going to come in from the consulate though. They're going to try and do as much damage as possible, but they popped on the wrong side of the consulate. They would have been so huge in this fight, but eventually, Kaiser, these Nagis actually survived, and the upgrade cards for Japan are actually really paying off, and they're absolutely melting Ungers' army right now. Nagis are on top of the Setans, and Ashis are going in melee. The 4 supporting Yamabushis are coming in from the back, and the Yumis are just raining down hell on the Native Americans. And Kaiser, I think this is a cleanup for Japan, and Keturboy is going to walk away with this win.
I mean, still got to see. He doesn't really have quite enough units to siege down 2 war huts, right? This is great for Japan. It's the first time he really comes out ahead of a fight, like, and has enough units at the end to like just have some units. But it's still not enough units to push. So I don't know if it's over, but it's looking really good for Japan.
It's not over, but look at this. We're not even getting full batches out really for Lakota behind this. Yes, we have double war hut, but Japan is now fully double batching units, and the Japanese eco is kind of taking off right now. We've got another Yumi shipment behind this. We've got more Nagis out on the floor, and if I'm Japan, I'm kind of going to save that consulate, what's it called again, that export. And I maybe want to get Bushido Tactics. I know it's H2, but at minute 20, you've got a 46 villa economy, you've got 100 shrine pop. You can really start 10 batching some units if you really want to go for it at some stage. So, and that's how you kind of mitigate that Lakota XP. And as we were saying, what the scary part for the Japanese army is, he's moving to the left side, and from what I'm feeling is that he's going to try and go for that stagecoach TP. And yes, a way for Keturboy to lose this advantage that he does have right now is to get stuck in between that cliff. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen because the Nagis are just going to go in on these Chetans, and they're completely undefended. There's no anti-cav out on the floor. Yes, finally a batch of Club Warriors is going to come out, but not before Chetans take a massive beating from these Nagis, and the Nagis are just going to go back and forth because they've got Yumi support now. They're going to be able to take every fight they want, basically. And the downside here for Lakota is that Chetans don't really kite. And yes, very nice raid, very nice caught there by our producer. Nice raid, but it's not going to be enough to equalize because Keter is just going to move forward. Very fortunate here with the mine positioning, though. He manages to push back the Japanese army for a little bit. And yeah, Keter can't really commit, can he? He's not really able to commit under this.
No, there are like 2 extra war huts going up, right?
Yeah, those are 2 war huts.
It's scary fighting there, and I think he was right to pull back because with the pathing and like now it's Lakota's turn to abuse pathing. You know, like this front base is full of like trees, coin mines, some buildings, the native posts. Really hard to engage in there, but the good thing is that unlike Lakota, Japan doesn't have to like really break this. Like Japan can still fast age in a way, so he could just also age. Like, I've won a fight, I'm gonna sit back in my base, I've got enough resources, and I'm gonna age up myself. And good luck following me up because you don't have a fast age up anymore.
Exactly, and I see that 300 export is being stored up right now for Keturboy. Are we potentially looking at a Bushido Tactics right now? If you would have researched this, I wanted to say maybe a 10 Nagi pop, but it's not really going to come. A big fight is going to come instead, and these Ashis are getting extreme value right now. The Ashi control on Keturboy has been amazing so far this game. He is going to pass with the Nagis around the Yumis, really allowing the Yumis to take the damage from these Lakota club riders
Oh yeah.
and for face damage, and these Ashes are doing so much. Look at how quickly these Axe riders are melting, and the Ashes are just going to stay in melee because in melee they do a better job than in rage against Chetans. And another supporting batch of Nagis and a couple of Ashes are trickling into the fight, and this is
Yeah.
another cleanup for Japan.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm honest, I think Ungers was a bit lazy with his micro in this game. Even previous fight, he just sort of let his axe like fight Ashes because there's some sort of popular belief that Ashes are a bad anti-cav, which is somewhat true, but still you
Such
can't just
bullshit. That's such bullshit.
I mean, in H2 they kind of are, but you still can't just take a fight like this. And boss times he just kind of let his cav die, and his cav was his only anti-cav, so you can't just let it die. I think he might have wanted to add some Bo Rider with the cav cards, would have been great, much better than Clark for sure. But yeah, wow, we've been saying the whole game that Japan would still end up losing, but you see that's why I've got PTSD.
That's your trauma right there.
Yeah.
You've been proven right. So let's look at the post game stats. First, let's
Yeah.
look at the villager population. I want to see if these raids really did pay off. At some point, yeah, look at this. Ungers was ahead on villagers the entire time. Basically, since the
Oh,
mid
he
game.
didn't lose that many bills, in fact. Yeah.
Oh, he didn't. Keter is very good at these, small things like keeping your villagers safe, not losing them, pulling back low HP vills. And whereas you said that Ungers was kind of lazy in that big fight micro, I have never seen Keter be lazy ever when it comes to anything, mechanically. So very well done. If we're going to look at the resource gathered graph, look at this. Lakota was ahead the entire game. How does Lakota really lose to Japan while being so far ahead in resources gathered?
I think he just took terrible trades the whole game. Like really. I mean, not terrible, but not good enough. Look at, like you can see he's got much more stuff, and he still like loses fight or takes even trades at best. And can we see maybe the oh yeah, units killed, units lost. Yeah, you can see what I mean, right? And
No,
these
there's
are
the
not
room for
like
that.
particularly cheap units. I mean, Cetans are a bit cheaper than Yumis, but not that much. And he also lost a lot of Axe Riders. They were always on the front, always tanking. So I think the ratio is like really, really good for Japan there.
Do you think that Ungers is really regretting not aging twice when he kind of had the opportunity? He had Japan boxed in. Like,
I think so, yeah.
What can Japan really do stuck in H2 against Wakina Bowrider composition? And the economy really was there for Ungers to triple batch units from a stable into barracks. So that one must really sting. But on a positive side for him, he does get to counter pick next game. So many were saying maybe this was sort of a blind counter pick, but next game he really gets the counter pick. So I'm excited
Yep.
to see what the next game brings to us.
Oh, is it blind pick for game one?
It is. It is. This was
Oh
a blind
yeah.
pick.
Well, I kind of like better when people agree on the matchup, so you don't get awkward matchups in game one. But I mean, people would have said that Lakota was favored and then he lost, so I guess it's fine. But
Yes.
okay, I think we should take a second to try and check the Discord and see what we can do to improve the stream quality. I think we might want to stop the screen share and
Oh,
we just
Kaiser,
stop
Kaiser,
the stream.
Kaiser. Please, you let the nerds handle that. When Kaiser
Nah.
is here, Kaiser gets to talk about the game, all right? You let the nerd boys in the background handle that. I'm going to ask you a question about our next matchup, Kaiser. We've got Germany versus Otto. Now, usually I would say it's slightly Germany favored, especially on, maps that don't really have a very dominant stagecoach appearance where Otto can't really play a very heavy H2. But from what I've seen from Keturboy, he's been showing me on how to beat this matchup because I really struggle with it. And he's got an excellent build for playing against Germany. So I'm excited to see how that one goes. But I'm gonna ask the German master himself, and probably one of the best auto players as well to play. Who would
Um,
you rather be in this matchup?
well, it really depends a lot on the map, I think. What is the map? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Let's see. What is map number 2 going to be? Let's go to probably tournament info, right? Let's see. Um,
because depending on whether there's water, like a big TP line or not, one or two coin mines in base for Germany. I think the
There we go.
matchup will
Saguenay.
change.
It's a water map. It's a water map. Saguenay.
Um. Okay. Yeah. I think it's kind of a close matchup on this map, probably, because I guess on most maps people would say it's a bit German favored. But then again, Saguenay is pretty good for auto. Because you get the water options, you get a nice TP line, and the second mine for Germany it's not very far, but it's not quite in base. Depending on how it spawns, it can be a bit tricky. So yeah, I think I wouldn't mind being auto on this map for sure, but it's close.
Yeah, and the mining situation, as you said, is really, I think, what kind of puts the advantages in Otto's favor, and kind of the you know, you don't really play DE, so you're a happier person overall in life than we are right now. Um,
Yeah,
and I can
you're
tell
right.
you, there's this Civ Mexico, and Mexico isn't as strong as a Civ when you get to the highest elo, but it's it is when you don't know what the Civ does, right? And not knowing what your opponent does and not really having a clue of what direction they're going to go in is a very big factor, especially in a tournament setting. And I feel like Otto kind of has multiple options on this map.
Yeah,
You can go for Water Boom, you can go for the Stagecoach gameplay, you can play aggressive H2. And the thing is that Otto kind of wants to keep Germany in H2, especially with the addition of Azaps. Azaps are, if you can macro them and if you can really pump them out, Germany doesn't really have an answer to Azap Abus. It's a
in
pike unit
H2,
that
you
in
mean in H2?
H2
Yeah.
and H3 they don't really find a way because they have a 4-time multi against all cav in melee, and then they have a 4-time multi against goon in range. So
Yeah, I know what you mean, and I kind of agree, but I think it's not completely clear because Azab still have to go melee,
yeah,
um, and that is just like you can out micro that, how should I put this? For example, if you go Jan Abus, there are many ways to out micro your opponent by pull tricking your Abus with the Jans, keeping the Jans in the back, then suddenly having them in the front, just tanking a bit, and then pulling back again, and Abus shooting instantly away. But here it's a bit different because you have to commit your Azaps to fight because obviously Germany will have Ulans. So I'm not sure Skirm Ulan doesn't just beat Abus Azap, basically. The reason why people would like Azap there is because they do great against war wagons, and German players usually go really heavy on war wagons against Otto, which is fair, but a good a good German player will adapt and just not make that many war wagons, I guess. And I've played games myself where people would go Azaps against my Germany, and maybe I'm forgetting about some games, but I don't really remember losing this because I was just going Skirm Ulan and microing basically.
yeah. I mean, it's Kaiser Micro at the end of the day. I can probably see you winning with pure Strelets against some fucking Huskars.
Nah, come on.
Let's not use you as the parameter for skill in this game, please, Kaiser, because I don't think
Nah, but
anyone watching right now can compete. But another thing to add to this, which I forgot to note earlier, I don't know if you've noticed, but the last patch, Ulans received a -1 attack nerf, if I'm not mistaken, and Delhi is already probably the best H2 cavalry in the game. And a stagecoach play with a Jan Delhi timing push can be really catastrophic for Germany, especially if you're going to do your standard Ulan semi.
well, yeah, thing is you don't really ever Ulan Semi against Otto, I guess, unless they go Delhi, which they should not, I think. But thing is, the thing with Jan Delete is it's a bit all in a way. I used to do it and I kind of stopped because I realized that Germany is sort of happy. It's a bit counterintuitive, but against Otto, Germany is sort of happy being able to just go bow pike in base and age and switch to war wagon or something like that. So and when you go Jan Delhi, you sort of allow that. You allow Germany to turtle with the pikes and crossbows and to get an age up in. I'm not saying it can't work. It can, but it's tricky. Like you have to get a really good timing and shit. But it is an option. The fact that Jan Delhi exists is already a threat to Germany. It's nice, you know. They have to be ready for that possibility. But I don't know if it's the best option. To be honest, there are so many options for Otto that it's hard to tell. I have won a fair amount of games going Jan Delhi, but I've also been disappointed sometimes. So I guess we'll have to see. I don't really know the style of Keturboy.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're trying to fix the quality of the stream, so we will be right back. And just stay here, don't go anywhere. Get your popcorns, go take a shit really quickly, smoke break, and be right back for the next game of this best of 7 series. And we'll be right back with you.
Yeah. See you guys.
Gonna need to take trades here, and he's taken really good trades. The Kanye are now pushing in, and is this the time? Ungers needs to get on the attack dance. I mean, he has 70 fills. He's so far at an eco. Put some fills on the attack dance, and this will be even better. He's not switching. He's on XP. The cap is going down. It's getting melted by the buildings here. The longbows are still standing and doing damage.
Does he have enough steam though? I think
There's not
Julian is
enough
running out.
though. Yeah.
Egerton Bowman, 1.5 fire rate once again, coming up truck, being king here, and just even though
Drag boxing the Naginatas forward, the Coyotes are trying to move, and the Atoman, he drag boxed the wrong direction, and now the Atomans are getting snared by
Oh my
the.
god,
Oh my
Nagis are
goodness!
shredding this right now. And it doesn't look like he's got his
11s.
I don't see any of the pikes. Where's the pikes on his fight? The Nagis are just cleaning this entire mass up. Coyotes are falling. You got the Ashes getting buff for the Dynamo. They've got Ashy attacking. They're absolutely shredding everything here. Yumi's don't even need to micro this at this point.
He's going to have to sack off his thrust. Yes, he has to come in melee here.
Yes.
I don't think he can continue keep microing. Well, he's going to try, wait for reinforcements and try to make it to his blockhouses. The question is, how much damage will he going to be taking? This is nice micro from Ungers, but you know, the Atontons just have to attack move here. And 1.5 fire rate, they do have staff animation. And the Tontons are absolutely insane. But he has drawn him into the double blockhouse. Now fighting under double blockhouse. The question is it going to be
Skits are a
enough to
little
defend him?
behind here. The Cossacks are now getting snared by the Pumas and the Coyotes. The Explorer is now in with the triple XP tech. Some warriors are mixing. The Atoans doing absolutely insane amount of damage. He's on plus 36%. Look at him on the attack. That's plus 36%. And he's just
Coyotes
coming in now
on the
with
Strelitz.
blockhouses are actually doing decent damage here. The Coyotes are kind of going down. The Spears are now trying to move in towards the front, and it's actually a decent fight, I think, for Tabin.
Pretty good fight for Tabin, but the you know, there's not very many Cossacks. He's letting a lot of these Coyotes and Pumas kind of shred his Strelitz a bit. Finally getting his Cossacks to where they want to be on the Slingers, and gonna be cleaning up.
Here, the ESOCs are out of position. The Carolinians as well, and the ESOCs are going to go up top. Oh, the tree carrying here. The tree is for Sweden, and there you go. We can see some damage here. The ESOCs are dead. That's quite a lot of mass. The ESOCs coming back from fair rate. Nah, GG. Optimus, his mass is getting completely clean. With the ESOCs, that's going to be a big snare right there, and there is no way those Carolinians are going to come out alive.
Maybe should be able to swing this water fight. Oh my gosh, this is so the micro here is so intense. Get in, get back in. Will the Yumi have the chance to snipe him? Look at the ship is at 62 HP.
Oh! Frontline, what a god!
Oh no! Oh my god! Oh my gosh, the micro here was insane, and that's GG. Wow, those galleys have such low HP.
He's gonna need to take trades here, and he's taken really good trades. The Kanye are now pushing in, and is this the time? Ungers needs to get on the attack dance. I mean, he has 70 fills. He's so far at an eco. Put some fills on the attack dance, and this will be even better. He's not switching. He's on XP. cab is going down. It's getting melted by the buildings here. The longbows are still standing and doing damage.
Does he have enough steam though?
There's not enough
running
stuff,
out.
though. Yeah.
It's Bowman, 1.5 fire rate once again, coming up, Trump being king here, and just even though
Drag boxing the Naginatas forward, the Coyotes are trying to move, and the Atoman, he drag boxed the wrong direction, and now the Atomans are getting snared by
oh my
the.
God.
Oh my
Nagis are
goodness!
shredding this right now. And it doesn't look like he's got his...
11s.
I don't see any of the pikes. Where's the pikes on this fight? The Nagis are just cleaning this entire mass up. Coyotes are falling. You got the Ashes getting buffed by the Dynamo. They've got Ashy attacking. They're absolutely shredding everything here. Yumi don't even need to micro this at this point.
he's gonna have to sack off his Ruskets. He has to come in melee here.
Yes.
I don't think he can continue keep microing. Well, he's gonna try, wait for reinforcements and try to make it to his blockhouses. The question is, how much damage will he gonna be taking? This is nice micro from Ungers, but you know, the Atontons just have to attack move here. And 1.5 fire rate, they do have staff animation. And the Tontons are absolutely insane. But he has drawn him into the double blockhouse. Now fighting under the double blockhouse. The question is it going to be
Muskets
enough
are a little
to prevent it?
behind here. The Cossacks are now getting snared by the Pumas and the Coyotes. The Explorer is now in with the triple XP tech. Some warriors are mixed in. The Atotan's doing absolutely insane amount of damage. He's on plus 36%. Look at him on the attack. That's a plus 36%. And he's just coming
Coyotes
in now,
on the
but the
Strelitz.
blockhouses are actually doing decent damage here. The Coyotes are kind of going down. The Spears are now trying to move in towards the front, and it's actually a decent fight, I think, for Tabin.
Pretty good fight for Tabin, but the you know, there's not very many Cossacks. He's letting a lot of these Coyotes and Pumas kind of shred his Strelitz a bit. Finally getting his Cossacks where they want to be on the Slingers, and gonna be cleaning up, I
Here,
think.
the ESOC are out of position. The Carolinians as well, and the ESOC are gonna go up top. Oh, the tree carrying here. The tree is for Sweden, and there you go. We can see some damage here. The ESOC, all the ESOC are dead. That's quite a lot of mass. The ESOC coming back from fair rate. Nah, GG. Optimus, his mass is getting completely clean. With the ESOC, that's gonna be a big snare right there, and there is no way those Carolinians are gonna come out alive.
Hades should be able to swing this water fight. Oh my gosh, this is so the micro here is so intense. Get in, get back in. Will the Yumi have a chance to snipe him? Look at the ship is at 62 HP.
Oh! Frontline, what a god!
Oh no! Oh my god! Oh my gosh, Michael, it was insane, and that's GG. Wow, those galleys have such low HP.
He's gonna need to take trades here, and he's taking really good trades. The Kanye are now pushing in, and is this the time? Ungers needs to get on the attack dance. I mean, he has 70 fills. He's so far at an eco. Put some fills on the attack dance, and this will be even better. He's not switching. He's on XP. The cab is going down. It's getting melted by the buildings here. The longbows are still standing and doing damage.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Hopefully, we have fixed some, if not most, of the issues that we had. And yeah, Kaiser Clan, you're looking fresh as ever and looking quite excited. Tell us a bit about how you're feeling casting these series so far.
Well, I mean, it was a pretty good game. I kind of expected to be a long and painful struggle for Lakota to just end up winning, but just winning anyway, you know. And then it was a bit more back and forth than I expected, so it was a pretty good game, yeah, I think. Lots of action.
Yeah.
We're not really used to seeing such prolonged H2 play, so it was nice. Yeah, I mean, what did you think about it?
Well, honestly, I think it was quite impressive. So what we usually don't put an emphasis on is the smaller things. So I'm not gonna toot my own horn here. I'm gonna toot your horn. I'm very excited to have casters that have this higher game knowledge. I'm not obviously all the casters at ESOC are amazing, but having someone that really has been there and done that, in the likes of you as a player that come in and share their opinions is really helpful, because usually I'm the one that has to input a lot of the things that high level players. It's nice having an actual pro player as well co-cast with. That is really really exciting. But do you think the series is going to go heavily in Keturboy's favor, or do you think Ungers is going to give us a show here?
Well, I mean, the first game was really close, so I don't see a reason why it should be too much in one player's favor. But I think Ungers just needs to be a little bit more of a try hard, maybe. Like, I think he thought the game was over and he didn't micro well enough and he just took bad fights, you know. But I think if Ungers focuses on this micro, I think he can totally win the next games. So we'll see. It could go either way, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
But definitely good for Keturboy that he won the first game against Lakota because Lakota is definitely one of Unger's best civs, and it's also a very annoying civ to play against anyway. So I think you're pretty happy to get a win against it.
exactly. And you said a very correct thing. So, from what I know from my series, the round of 32 that I won against Mongo 10, I also lost the first game, and it was kind of the kick in the pants I needed. And I really picked it up from there and won the series 4-1. So, I'm not really saying that Ungers will win the series 4-1 from here, but knowing Keturboy, I don't know how much you know about Keturboy, but he is one of the next big bright stars. He really is an amazing player. Um, and a lot of players they have this tournament nerves and they really underperform sometimes. And I myself have played a lot of really good players in tournament setting. But there's only been two players that I've personally played that I have said, wow, they have just played this game flawless throughout the entire series. And those were Hazza that I lost to in the round of 16 and Keturboy in the last tournament that I've played him. When he picks it up, he just goes into a focused mode and really doesn't give any quarters. And you know how important it is to not make any mistakes at this level. And that's when really the entertainment comes in for us AoE3 fans because then the outplaying has to happen, right? When you don't have any openings, when your opponent doesn't really make mistakes, you have to think out of the box and you have to really bring your A game to win a game. And that is what
Yeah.
I'm expecting for the rest of the series.
Yeah, like just piling up some small advantages here and there, and then eventually get pulling ahead. Yeah, I see what you mean. Which is kind of like what happened in previous game. In fact, I wouldn't say that Keturboy didn't make any mistakes, but he definitely never blundered, you know, and he just
Yeah,
survived for long enough until Ungers did blunder himself and just lost the fight, and then he was winning, and then he won, you know.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
also a bit of the Japan effect, to be fair, like we were saying, but still, yeah, he. Okay, yeah, we're ready to move into game two, so let's do this.
All right, let's do it. TFL, if you could just stream for us on Discord, that would be amazing. You can follow the stream wherever you watch.
Oh,
All
yeah,
right. So we're gonna do it on
we'll just
Twitch.
follow off Twitch so we get a better quality.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 2 of this best of 7 series brought to you by ESOC for the quarterfinals of the ESOC Spring Championships. And on the east side of the map, in the color of blue on this icy map of Saguenay, we have the Big Ungers playing as the Germans, and his opponent on the west side of the map in the color red is going to be Keturboy playing as his home nation, as the Ottomans. Now, it's part of his home nation. He is French and he is Turkish. So it is half of him that he's going to be playing. Now, as I said before to Kaiser, Keter knows this matchup in and out. He is a Germany main. He really loves Germany and he knows all the timings perfectly. And what we are seeing right now, Kaiser, is we're not seeing a dock start. I think that his decision has been influenced by the fact that with the ice map, the fish is less. We do still have the four whales, but we have less fish and less water, and also the walking distance for the villagers to actually get to the shore is probably too long for his liking, and he's going to decide to play this on land and probably with a stagecoach in mind or whatnot. What are you thinking of the start so
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it makes sense. It's just it's the spawn where you get the 4 TPs, so you kind of want to go for the TP line. I mean, it's a bit of an incentive, and it's also the spawn where there's no islands and you get ice, so water is a bit weaker. So it makes sense. It makes sense, and it's totally reasonable anyway. Like going for a TP as auto is just fine. So yeah, we don't have too much information. Like you said, we know he's not going water, but auto could still do anything from here. So we'll have to keep
Exactly.
an eye on the transition already. In during the transition to H2, you can sort of guess already what auto is about to go for.
Exactly. I think as well the fact that, as you said, it's a 4 TP map. Keter can kind of fake going for a stagecoach H2 play, and now that we're in the game, I can kind of say this. Keter has this amazing build where he kind of abuses the fact that Delhi never loses a fight to Ulan, and he's going to go into full Delhi production in H2. He really likes to do this 3 vil into 5 vil, 700 wood, 700 coin, 600 coin build, kind of stay with a little bit of an extended H2. And look, he's really faking this H2, this H1 water play. He did take a TP, but with auto, you have a couple of variations. You can take a TP and still go for water. And Ungers, yeah, kind of forced to pick an anti-water deck, 1v1 pawns, as we can see here. What do you think about this Germany deck? This looks kind of iffy, no?
Can we see it again? Because I didn't catch up all the
Yeah,
cards in
sure,
this
sure.
deck.
Yes.
I mean, the 5 tops is maybe a bit weird against auto. Yeah, and that's a lot of H4 cards as well. What is he missing in H2?
We've got 3
I g-
horse cannons.
yeah, I mean, it's a it's a little bit unorthodox, but it's not. He's got most of the cards he needs, to be fair, so should be
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think a nice mercenary shipment in H2, kind of to try and hold the timing after you ship your coin and you see that your TC is kind of getting surrounded. Maybe in that situation, like a Highlander shipment or whatnot, could be nice. But yeah, still a quite okay deck. I would say you've got all the H3 stuff that you want in there, which is kind of the necessary things for Germany, right? So yeah, for the rest, I think the decks are looking quite nice, but I am kind of doubting maybe the overinvestment on water for Otto. In the scenario of these cards, like we've got rendering plant, we've got schooners, we've even got CM that you don't really see CM at high level gameplay, right?
Um, CM as auto is against Germany is like, yeah, it's kind of surprising, but maybe he wants to go for the 3 TC turtle Abus stuff, kind of.
Yeah.
We'll have to see, I guess. One thing to mention is that Germany did find 120 food, but I didn't quite see all the treasures he's got, so I don't know how good his H1 was, but still, 120 food is enough to make a good H1, so he might be able to age with 16 vils. He's gonna have a bit of idle time for sure, but it could be okay against Otto especially.
It doesn't look like the idle time will be that much crazier, right?
Nah,
But
I mean he's gonna get like 700 food.
all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we are going to stop right here. The show is going to go on, but we are going to switch producer. The stream's being a bit too slow, so we are going to find the solution. And when we do find one, we are going to be right back at you guys. So we know it is frustrating to watch it slow, and we are trying our best, and we